everyone. My name's Kirk Prine, and I am smudging myself using some sage to clear what's known as our energy fields, that outer layer around us that is kind of like a semi-permeable membrane. I think of it as our spiritual immune system, and it gets cluttered. It gets cluttered all the time in the crazy world in which we're living right now, with things flying around and kind of attaching to us, and ways like simple smudging, your prayers, your meditations, the things that you do, even take a shower and think of the shower as a way of bathing off, but clearing off that outer clutter that happens to you. In our work that we're doing on this 4-day experience of body story experience training, the key phrase is really what's up. What's coming up for you. And so much right now is coming at us from the environment around us. So we need to keep clearing that. But then what's coming up through us? So one of the things I want to teach about is actually the idea of protectionism. When we feel threatened, we actually go into a place where we pull back, or we put up our shield, or we get into kind of fight and flight kinds of places because we feel unsafe, or we feel hopeless or alone or powerless, or all of the above. And in that world in which we're all living right now, it's pretty easy to feel any one of those things just because of what's going on separate from our own personal lives, but intertwined with our personal lives. And the reaction, though, is protectionism. And I see that what's up right now in our country is things are trying to break through. But what's up in you right now that's trying to break through? And a lot of times we think, well, in our country, the Me Too movement, the Black Lives movement matters, the gun control, Save Our Lives, all of those movements that are happening are eruptions of what's up, what's trying to come up for healing and changing our story on a broad conscious level. But what's trying to come up in you personally? And our bodies never lie. So our bodies are ever telling us some of what is trying to come up and is ready for healing now, in this moment, for you to go further in your journey, to be more free and to have more of the desires of your heart. And I think that's the piece that I want to focus on just for a second. That we think of threats a lot of times as, somebody's going to shoot a gun at us, that kind of horrible threat that's out in the world. But threats are more, what's coming up may actually be the threat of having the desires of your heart. So I'll tell a quick story. I've told it thousands of times, but a man came to see me some years ago who had pretty much a very successful life. He was a lawyer and did was very successful in all that he had as far as prospering and well respected in the community. What he didn't have was an intimate relationship. And so he really desired to have that intimate relationship, found someone that he was supposed to meet up with, that he had hoped would be that connection, that kind of soulmate that he was looking for. And this person lived in another city. And as soon as he made a ticket to fly and go see this person, he got shingles. so that happened once, and we talked about it. And well, what's your body saying? Interesting, everybody has probably the potential for shingles virus to be living in them, but stressors in our lives, peel off that immune system so that things erupt. So shingles erupted for him. Just kind of serendipitous timing, though, of here he was about to meet someone that was a manifestation of the desire of his heart. Well, it happened not only once, it happened twice, and then it happened 3 times. So it was undeniable that each time he went for actually having the desire of his heart to have the intimacy that he wanted, that shingles would reappear for him. And he got it. And once he got it, he was able to work with the story of not being touchable. So shingles really became the metaphor. If you've ever had shingles, you don't want to be touched. It's painful. And yet the very thing that he longed for so deeply in his heart and his body was to be touched, to be seen and heard and known and validated in an intimate way that he'd never experienced growing up as a kid. So when he broke that agreement with himself that he was untouchable and that he could ask for help and that he didn't have to be overly independent, but he could actually open up and be vulnerable, his protectionism dropped. So his guard dropped. He opened up, as we do in our Aikido exercise, he opened up to the availability of intimacy and love in a deeper way. And ultimately didn't actually meet this one person, but did meet someone else right after he did this amazing work of clearing out the story that was in his body that was protecting him from not a threat of something untoward and harmful, but a threat of something that was actually the desires of his heart. So I hope this gives you some juicy material to think about. Namaste.